So, good evening and welcome to today's class. We'll start our discussion
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
on tax planning on employees, that is, tax planning relating to the salary. Right, I'm going to share with you the related screen. Just wait a minute. Most of the part we had discussed in our previous class. We'll continue our discussion. In addition to that, I am supposed to show you that how you'll be able to use the calculators which are provided in the Income Tax Department's website. So friends, in the previous class, we have learned when coming to this aspect, the tax planning relating to the employees. So we have seen the employees receive salary mostly, and some of them may have some other incomes also, some additional income like house property, business profession, capital gains, income from other sources may be there, but they are the rare situation. And salary, we have seen there are certain deductions, and we have seen how many deductions are there under the head salary. Can any of you recall?
Yes, sir. There are 5 heads, sir. Salary head, house property, income.
Yeah, there are 5 heads.
No.
There are 5 heads.
Yes, sir.
My point is that under the head salary, there are deductions. How many deductions are there under the head salary?
Sir, there are deductions. Basically, the standard deduction.
Yeah.
And one is for government employees, some entertainment deduction. It is not for other employees.
Okay. Entertainment allowance, standard deduction, entertainment allowance, and professional tax. These are the 3 deductions which are there.
Yes, sir.
Under the head salary.
Professional tax different from state to state. The slab of professional tax is different from state to state. In Odisha, there are 3 slabs.
Right.
Yes, sir. Up to 13,500, there is no professional tax.
Very
Above
good.
that, up to some. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we know these are the deduction under the salary, and then from the gross total income, there will be some deduction. They are chapter 60 deduction. They are different. We'll be learning those things. And we also know these are the components of salary, basic salary allowances, perquisites, property in lieu of salary, pension, etc. And these are the 3 deductions as you told right now. Standard deduction, functional tax, and entertainment allowance. Right, all these things you have discussed. Standard deduction is up to rupees 50,000 flat. Anyone who is earning in salary can get a deduction up to 50,000 rupees. If the salary is less than 50,000 rupees, then up to that amount, full amount of the salary can be claimed as standard deduction. If it is more than 50,000 rupees, then 50,000 rupees can be claimed as standard deduction. Okay. Then we have understood that entertainment allowance, mostly it is beneficial to government employees. They can get a minimum of the following things can be get exempted. Entertainment allowance, actual amount received, 20% of the basic salary or 5,000. Minimum of this thing will be exempted only for government employees. For other than government employees, there is no exemption as such. Then we have understood professional tax. This tax, if it is paid by the employee, then that can be claimed as a deduction from salary. And if it is reimbursed by the employer, then first it will be added to the salary as a perquisite, and then it will be claimed as a deduction from the salary. Then we have, friends, understood this is about the relief under section 89. It's in case somebody has received some arrears of the salary or advance salary, and because of that his income has moved from lower rate to a higher rate, and he is supposed to be assessed at a higher rate because of this inclusion of arrears of the salary or advance salary. Right? Sometimes what happens because of this thing, this kind of receipt, people receive some amount which pertains to earlier years, because of which again they come under a higher tax bracket. In that kind of situation, that assessee can claim a relief under section 89. We had discussed this aspect in our last class. Then one more rebate also we had discussed. Right, if the total income is less than or equal to 5 lakh rupees, up to 12,500 rupees can be claimed as a relief. Consequently, if somebody's income is up to 5 lakh rupees, then his total income tax will become nil. But if it is slightly more than 5 lakh rupees, suppose 5 lakh and 100 rupees, then he has to pay the tax. So that context we have understood. And in the previous class, we had discussed now for the assessment year 21-22, there are 2 rates. One is, we call it as the old tax regime. This is the rate we had discussed in last class, 5%, 20%, 30%. For this kind of income slab, up to 2,50,000 nil, 2,50,000 1 to 5 lakh 5%, then 5 lakh 1 to 10 lakh 20%, then above 10 lakh 30%. This is the rate for men and women below 60 years of age. And of course, rebate 87A is allowed. And for senior citizen, the minimum exemption, minimum amount which is not chargeable to tax is 3 lakh rupees. That is basic exemption limit is 3 lakh rupees. Above that, up to 5 lakh rupees is 5%. Then above 5 lakh, up to 10 lakh is 20%, and above 10 lakh is 30%. These things we have discussed. And for super senior citizens, up to 5 lakh amount is nil, and above 5 lakh, up to 10 lakh, it is 20%, and above 10 lakh, it is 30%. This is the rate applicable both for assessment year 2021 as well as 21-22. Right? And for the assessment year 21-22, that means for the previous year 2021. So there is an optional scheme which we are discussing in our previous class. An alternate tax regime has been proposed in the budget, according to which this is the slab rate which has been prescribed. Right? So up to 2.5 lakh exempt, then you can see that the rates, these are the slabs, 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh 5%, then 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh 10%, then 7.5 lakh to 10 lakh 15%, then above 10 lakh to 12.5 lakh 20%, then above 12.5 lakh to 15 lakh 25%, above 15 lakh 30%. These are the rates, various rates are prescribed. As you can see, this is a concessional rate, isn't it? 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 30%, 20%, 25%, 30%. But to use this rate, or if you want to avail this rate, you have to sacrifice some deductions. And these are the list of the deductions which are discussed in last class. Most important deduction is 50,000. So this is most of the cases salaried people get this benefit. So if they want to sacrifice this thing, this new scheme may not be beneficial to them, for salaried people mostly. Similarly, all these deductions they cannot avail: leave travel allowances, house rent allowances, and a list of allowances which are provided in section 10. Then if they have taken some housing loan, then also they cannot claim loss of interest up to rupees 2 lakh. If you want to avail this new scheme, new regime, then all these deductions needs to be sacrificed. Again, if some investment has been made which are eligible for chapter 60 deduction, so up to 1,50,000 rupees, this deduction cannot be availed. If investment is made in NPS, then 50,000 rupees cannot be availed. Donations given to some charitable institutions, then deduction under section 80G cannot be availed. Similarly, interest on educational loan cannot be availed. And saving bank interest up to 10,000 rupees, which is eligible deduction under section 80 TTA, is also not.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, under section 80G and 80E, is there is any limit?
No, there is no limit.
Okay, for education loan interest also there is no limit.
Education loan interest, there is no limit. There is limit as regards to installment. In 7 years, that is allowed under section education loan interest.
Yes. Okay.
80E, 7 years time period limit is there. Similarly, under 80G, there are different kind of different ways of calculating how much is the eligible, how much is the qualifying amount, like this. So most of the cases you can understand certain deductions are eligible 100% and certain deductions are eligible for 20%, 50% deduction. Okay, so it varies situation to situation. Now, as I was telling you, old tax regime versus new tax regime. So practically one example I had shown you in our previous class. But what is expected of you is that you should try. You should try keeping in view, you should using the tax calculators which is provided in the Income Tax Department's website. You can try which is beneficial to you, right? But we can just overall we can understand that the old regime is suitable for low to middle income class, right? And also it is suitable to those people who have made some investment at chapter 6A. And specifically old scheme also suitable for salaried employees because they get a straightway one deduction is standard deduction, which they will definitely like to use, right? So if they go to new scheme, that deduction has to be sacrificed. So therefore old scheme is preferable for them. Okay, last class I was telling you that I will be showing you, I'll show you some of the calculators, how to use that thing. Today I will try to show you that thing. For the timing, I will stop sharing this file. Let us visit to the income tax department's website now. Okay, just a minute. I will be taking you to a different screen. Now please tell me what you are seeing right now.
Google.
Okay, Google. Now you see
Google
I am
screen, sir.
Google screen. Now I am typing
Income tax India.
incometaxindia.gov.in. Okay, this is one site. You can also go to incometaxindia e-filing.gov.in. Both the sites I will show you how to go there. You see, I will click here. So if you have, you see, this is the site I had shown you earlier. I think here is a link tax tools. If you click tax tools, you will be getting some calculators. Right. If you want to read the act, rules, etc., so you can read here. Right. Yesterday you are asking me, that is the taxability of this thing. Something you asked, life insurance, maturity value, etc. You have to refer to the act. I will be telling you in appropriate time how to refer it. So tax tools are there. Or inside, below that you can see one more link, tax calculators. Can you read here?
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir. Tax calculator.
Tax calculator. You can click your tax calculators, or you can go to tax tools also. There also you will be getting tax calculators. Either way you can click it, right? So okay. Let us say I am clicking tax tools. Inside that you will be getting tax calculators. So these are the various kinds of calculators available, right? Let us say for medical facility, for house rent accommodation, transport allowance, all these you see various kinds of calculators are available. House rent allowance, income tax calculator, deferred tax calculator. This here is a tax calculator. You see, so many calculators are there, and other pages are also there. Relief under section 89, that calculator is also available. Okay, I am using this tax calculator now to show you how to see whether old scheme is better or new scheme is better. Let us take, for this example, we'll take assessment year 21-22 because we are talking about the choice of old scheme and new scheme. Let us say taxpayer is an individual. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
You see, now here it is coming whether opting taxation under 115 BAC. This is new scheme. Let us opt for new scheme. Okay, let us opt for new scheme. We'll opt for new scheme. Male, female, or senior citizen. Let us say normal male. No, not senior citizen. Okay. Pension, is also part of the salary. So there might be senior citizens who are having salary income. Residential status, I guess all of us are residents. Let us say net taxable income, I will take, let us say 10 lakh. Okay. Now I will press enter. You see, what is the tax liability coming here? Can you read it?
75,000.
78,000.
78,600. Sorry, 78,000.
Total 78,000. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the kind of situation you have to see. If you opt for, we are said that taxation under this thing means under new scheme. So let us say under old scheme. I will say I will not opting new scheme. I will say no. How much is this coming?
1,17,000.
1,70,000. You see, in this kind of situation, this is better. Which is better? New scheme is better.
New scheme is better.
New scheme is better. Okay. But if you have deductions, right? Deductions, what will happen? Your total income will reduce. Suppose your income is 10 lakh rupees, but actually in that 10 lakh rupees, 50,000 rupees straight away it will go standard deduction.
Standard.
Is it not? So practically your income now becomes 9,50,000 rupees. Plus you having some investment, let us say. You are having investment because maybe health insurance, all these things taken together might be around 2 lakh you can claim. Another 2 lakh will be reduced. If there is a housing loan, another 2 lakh will be reduced. Is it not? If you are having saving bank interest, then 10,000 rupees will reduce. So because of effect of this thing, you have to see. So sometimes old scheme might be beneficial to those salaried people who have some kind of saving. Right? If saving is not there, then definitely new scheme is better. So you can say new scheme is beneficial for those people who have not made substantial saving. right? And who are claiming all this
Right.
benefit. For them, new scheme might be better. Otherwise, old scheme is definitely better. So you can change it. Let us say for 10 lakh, instead of 10 lakh, I am, let us say, 15 lakh. Or let us say I am making it 20 lakh. 20 lakh, you see, here I am saying whether opting for new scheme, no. Let us say how much is the tax. You see, 4,29,000. I will make it yes. Here you see new scheme, it is coming 3,51,000. So like this, one has to calculate. Okay.
Sure.
So again, I will be visiting this to this site, or one more site also you can go. Here you see there is a link. E-file return. Can you see this link?
Yes, sir.
You click here, you'll be taken to the e-filing website, Income Tax Department, Income Tax India e-filing. These are the various steps through which you can read these things and you can understand how to do e-filing. And the last part you see, it will taking you to this link, Income Tax India e-filing.gov.in. Okay, there also you can find this dialog box. I am closing. Here you see tax calculator for financial year 2020. Are you seeing it? Tax calculator.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here also I am clicking it. You mention your age. Suppose your age is below 60. Let us say your estimated income is 12 lakh. Let us say your exemption deduction is around 3 lakh. Compare tax under existing and new scheme. You see, old scheme it is coming 96 something. New scheme it is coming under 1,19,600. This is a clear comparison. So old scheme benefit is this one. Okay. So I guess many salaried people might be having deduction around 3 lakh rupees, because 50,000 rupees standard deduction plus at least some investment maybe around 1,50,000, 1,80,000. So around 3 lakh rupees, if this is the kind of standard deduction, you see which scheme is better? Which scheme is better now?
Old scheme.
Old scheme is better. Considering this thing, considering the deduction.
But
yeah,
for deduction and savings, yeah, we can definitely go for old scheme. For
old
new,
scheme.
yeah, those who are new, just joining, those who are starting their careers, they can go
Yeah.
for the new scheme.
Yeah. Some people might be having deduction not 3 lakh, at least 3 lakh plus housing loan if someone is having 5 lakh deduction. If 5 lakh deduction is there, you see saving is substantial. You see, old scheme only 54,000 something. New scheme it is 1 lakh. And 5 lakh deduction is also normal. Most of the salaried people have this kind of amount. Is it not? Normal 3 lakh, including standard deduction. Plus housing loan interest they claim around 2 lakh. So you see, old scheme is better in that kind of situation. Even if your salary is not 12, around 15, let us say it is a higher slab, then also you see, old is better. Okay, if someone is, let us say, conservative, he is not investing 3 lakh, 5 lakh, let us say investing only 2 lakh. Then old scheme is slightly higher, new scheme is better. Okay, salary of 15 lakh, if salary of 12 lakh, let us say, old scheme is still better. So it depends. So you can try this calculator I had show you. This is available. You will see this website, Income Tax India e-filing.gov.in. Tax calculator. You can find all this. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And right now, mind you, right now it is many employers are asking the employee that which scheme you would like to opt. So you have to compare and you have to give your choice that whether you will opt for new scheme or for old regime. It is up to you. But understand that this is not final. You can right now you can opt old scheme. It finally at the time of filing of the return you can choose for new scheme also. Right. Ultimately, when you file the return, you can finalize what is the scheme you will opt for. So that option you are giving right now to your employer for TDS purpose is not final. Is it clear to you?
But sir, what we have choose, employer will be deducted TDS accordingly.
Yeah, employer will be deducting TDS accordingly.
Yes,
But
they
again,
can
that's
deduct it
not,
throughout the year.
yeah, but that's not final. No, you can finally at the
Okay.
time of filing of the return, you can change the scheme. That is for TDS purpose. TDS is not final tax payment. Final tax payment you have to make.
Yeah, I will get return also in that time.
Yeah, you can change that option. Okay, I am going back to our earlier screen now. Yeah, so this is the screen I was showing you. Tax calculator, and here you can fill up the age, etc. This comparison, this kind of thing will come. Now we'll see what are the major components of the salary. One item is that house rent allowance. So many salaried people claim it. This is a kind of deduction, right? So in house rent allowance, what is exempted under this head, under the house rent allowance, is that actual house rent allowance receipt. That is one item. Rent paid over 10% of the salary. That is the second item. Then 50% of the salary if the house is located in a metro city, and 40% of the salary if the house is located in some other place. So these are the three things, right? So the least of the following will be exempted, right? The least of the following things will be exempted, and the balance amount will be taxable. This is how we'll be evaluating house rent allowance, right? Now you'll be thinking how we'll be able to calculate it. Don't worry. Similarly, house rent allowance calculators are there. I'll be showing you. Understood? So this is one of the allowance which is beneficial to the salaried employees. They can take advantage of this. Okay. Similarly, if salary includes children hostel allowance, the 300 per month per child, maximum 2 children is also exempted. So a salaried employee can take advantages of this thing also. Okay. Children's education allowance, this claim can be made. Okay. Similarly, if transport employees are there, then they can claim a deduction of 10,000 rupees per month or 70% of the allowance, whichever is less. That deduction can be claimed. There is a separate calculator for all these things. You can use it. So why I'm not explaining all these things in detail is that practically there is no need to remember these things. Calculators are there. You can use it. Okay. We'll see how to use that calculator. Similarly, all allowances to the government employees working outside India are exempted. Okay, allowances to UPSC chairperson members are exempted, and there are certain exempted perquisites which may be included in the salary, like free refreshment, tea and similar non-alcoholic beverages, snacks provided during working hours or extended working hours are exempted. Meals are exempted. Up to rupees 50 per meal is exempted. But okay, it can be provided in the office or through non-transferable coupons. If meals are provided, they are exempted for projects. Free ration to armed force personnel are exempted. Goods manufactured by the employer sold to employee at a concessional rate, they are also exempted. Conveyance facility provided to the employees for office to residents joining, they are also exempted. Training cost expenditures incidentally incurred for the employees are exempted. Perquisites provided to government employees for working outside India are exempted. Employers' contribution to staff group insurance scheme are exempted. So these are, you see, various kinds of list of exempted perquisites. If your salary includes all these things, you need to understand they are exempted. Medical facility at office, medical insurance premium paid by employer, periodicals and journals, telephone, mobile facility, free education facility to the employee children up to 1,000 rupees per month per child, health club or sports club facility, use of computer laptop facility, all these are exempted for projects. Similarly, another list of exempted for projects are there. Rent-free accommodation to high court judges, rent-free furnished accommodation to MPs, MLA, etc. Rent-free accommodation in remote area. Right. So there is list of things you can go through leisurely and find out if your salary includes all these items, they are exempted from this. Similarly, if some uh, interest-free loan is provided, then what is exempted? If the loan doesn't exceed rupees 20,000 rupees, then it is fully exempted. Or the loan is for treatment of specified diseases, they are exempted. Okay. Otherwise, if it is not there, it is not within 20,000 rupees, is not for specified diseases, then what is exempted is SBI lending rates or interest paid by the employees. Right? The difference is the value of the percentage. That means suppose SBI lending rate is 10%, but employer is charging you 2%. Then 8% will be the value of perquisites, 8% will be taxed. Okay. So this is how interest-free loan will be valued. Similarly, medical facility, if it is provided, it is exempted. Not fully exempted, it conditional. Medical facility in India. Okay, a medical facility is provided in India. At workplace, it is not taxable, it is fully exempted. Or it is provided at a government declared hospital, then also it is not taxable. But if it is provided in some other places, then we have to see if it is for specified diseases, then exempt, not taxable. If it is provided some other places, and that too for other diseases, not for specified diseases, then it is taxable. And if the same medical facility is provided outside India, then that facility will be involving traveling expenditure, stay expenditure, and medical expenditure. Traveling expenditures are exempted only if gross total income is less than 2 lakh rupees. Stay expenditure, medical expenditures are exempted up to RBI limit. RBI sanctions a particular limit for release of foreign exchange. Up to that limit it is exempted. Beyond that it is taxed. Just have an idea. Look at this chart. Okay, whatever is written in this chart, by seeing this chart, you'll be able to understand which situation medical facility will be exempted and which situation it will be taxable. And if it is for specified diseases, as you know, it is fully exempted. Here is the list of the specified diseases. Just have an idea what are these diseases. No need to remember. Just have an idea like cancer, TB, AIDS, etc. All these items are included here. If medical facility is provided for this kind of diseases, then it is fully exempted, not taxed. Okay. Like this, leave travel concession. Some of you might be aware. So some employers offer these facilities. If it is in India, then stay and other costs reimbursed by the employer is fully taxable. But travel cost reimbursed by the employer is exempted on actual basis. However, in case of air route, maximum economic class fare of national carrier by the shortest route shall be exempted. Outside India, it is fully taxable. So I am quickly going through all these slides. This leave travel concession, this exemption can be availed twice in a block of 4 years. Some of you might be aware of this. The conditions are written here in these slides. You can read later on. For our assessment year 2021, the relevant block is 2018-2021. Within this calendar year block, one can avail benefits of leave travel concession maximum 2 times. However, one journey can be carried forward. This is the condition. You can read it. All these things. Then provident fund facilities. This is also a kind of tax, salary tax people. Their tax planning also deals with this provident fund. So there are various kinds of provident fund like statutory provident fund, recognized provident fund, unrecognized provident fund, public provident fund, etc. Taxability varies. Employers' contributions. This is, you see, employers makes contribution. Employees also make contribution. Then deductions are available. 80 chapter 6A deductions are available for contributions made. The interest income, sometimes it is exempt, sometimes it is taxable. The lump sum withdrawal, sometimes it is exempt, sometimes it is taxable. Entire process is written here in this table. You can go through this. So in the income,
Sir,
yeah.
One doubt. Right now, this employer contribution to the provident fund, as per this new changing rules, this could be 10% instead of 12%.
Yeah,
That will be effective from this quarter, I think, from July onwards.
right. Right. That is
That will
about, according to the Provident Fund Act, that is a
yeah.
contribution part. Okay. Income Tax Act says something. Right now, if you're talking about our assessment year 2021, you have to see what kind of Provident Fund we are talking about. If it is statutory Provident Fund, that is like government Provident Fund, then employer's contribution is not taxable. It doesn't matter whether it's 10%, 12%, 8%, 20%, doesn't matter. Okay, employees' contribution is also not taxable. Nowhere employees' contributions are taxable. Employers' deduction of the employee contribution can be availed. Interest credited is fully exempt. Lump sum withdrawals are fully exempt. It doesn't matter if it is statutory or government provident fund. If it is a recognized provident fund, that means provident fund which is recognized by the commissioners of income tax, then up to 12% of the salary contribution is made, then it is not taxable. Right? But if the employer makes more contribution, then it will be taxable. If employer making 10% contribution, then it is not taxable. Right? If employers make 15% contribution, then the difference 3% will be taxable. Understood? But we have to see which kind of provident fund we are talking about. Statutory provident fund means government provident fund. Recognized provident fund means provident fund which is recognized by Commissioner of Income Tax. Unrecognized provident fund means provident fund which is not recognized by Commissioner of Income Tax. Public provident fund is a kind of account which can be opened in bank and post offices. Anybody can open. It need not be an employee. He can open it. Right? Public provident fund. So depending upon the type of provident fund, we have to see which is exempt, which is taxable. Okay. So employees, in case most of us might be having this recognized provident fund, not taxable up to 12% of the salary employer's contribution. Employee's contribution is not taxable. Deduction on employee's contribution can be availed. Interest exempted up to 9.5%. Above that, if interest is received, that is taxable. Lump sum withdrawal not taxable on retirement or termination after 5 years. 5 years of continuation service, if money is withdrawn, then that is not taxable. Okay, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now I was telling you that various kinds of calculators are available. I purposefully didn't tell you in detail that how to calculate this house rent allowance, rebate, children's education allowances. Why I didn't show it? Because it is there in the slide. Because all these calculators are available in the Income Tax Department's website. I request you please use it. Use that calculator. Again, I will be showing you this calculator. Just a minute. So you'll be very easily you will be able to use it. So I wanted that you should use it. So I am, let us say, and I am going again to this department's website, www.incometaxindia.gov.in. Okay. Quickly, I will be going to this calculators, tax calculators I am visiting. You see, medical facilities. Some example, let us say house rent allowance calculator I am trying to show you. You see, let us say basic salary is 3,60,000. DA from salary, let us say 2,40,000. Let us say there is no commission. Let us say HRA received. HRA received. Yeah, I have to show it here. Let us say someone is receiving HRA of let us say 1,20,000. Rent paid. Assume, let us say we are paying 84,000. Then we have to see whether he is residing in metro city. Let us say no, so we will not tick off. So you can quickly find it out after pressing enter. What is this? Exempted house rent allowance this much. Taxable house rent allowance is 96,000. Okay, total he has received how much house rent allowance? 1,20,000. Out of this, exempted is 24 and taxable is 96,000. Okay, so without reading that slides also, straightway you can use calculators. Okay, understood?
Okay.
So many calculators are there for rent-free accommodation, transport allowance, children's education allowance, tax calculator, deferred tax calculator, house rent allowance. I'm going to the next page. You see, advanced tax calculator, TDS calculator. You need not remember anything. Income from house property. So many calculators. You can go page by page. You can see all these calculators, including rebate relief calculators. You can use it. Okay. Now, friends, very little time is available, but still I will try to show you that slide. Now, coming to this chapter 6 deduction, there are so many deductions which normally salaried people avail. First of all, you see, this is the list of deduction, ATC, ATCCC, ATCCD, or all these deductions are there. You can see this chart. This is the entire list of deductions which can be availed. But some of the deductions are generally used by salaried people. First of all, this one thing is that 1,50,000 rupees in investment in life insurance policies, EPF, etc. One can avail this thing. In NPS, most of us invest another 50,000 rupees. One can claim deductions. Okay, these are the two normal deductions. Plus, some of us invest in medical insurance premium. The deduction amount is up to 25,000, but for senior citizen, it is up to 50,000 rupees. For preventing check of another 5,000 rupees can be claimed as deduction. For medical premium, some of us can invest money there. In respect of maintenance of medical treatment of disabled dependent, then another 75,000 can be claimed if there is some dependent person who is dependent on the salaried person, then up to 75,000, and in case of severe disability, up to 1,25,000 deduction can be claimed. For medical treatment, for individuals, for himself and also for dependent, up to 40,000 can be claimed. For senior citizens, up to 1 lakh can be claimed. So these are good investments. Like that, interest for educational loan, when the assessee starts paying the interest, you can claim it in 7 assessment years, in 7 installments that can be claimed. Okay. Similarly, loan borrowed for housing, if that involves interest up to 2 lakh rupees is exempt, can be claimed, you know. And plus, if the new house is constructed during previous year 16-17, another 50,000 rupees can be claimed. Like this, so many deductions are there. Quickly, I'm just showing you. We may not be able to go. Okay, donations made under section 80G, in some cases 100%, some cases 50% can be claimed. Plus another additional thing, you can say this one, 80 TTA, interest on saving bank, 10,000 rupees can be claimed. So like this, various kinds of deductions are there. So you can